Hey, everybody. So we are looking at our Chapter 19 test review today. I'm going to be going through all of the class examples and, make sure to do these along with me on your piece of paper as well as enter your answers into Delta Math. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. Go ahead and click on this first one, looking at the surface area of rectangular prisms. All right, so there we have it. You don't necessarily need to draw these shapes, though if you feel like it would be beneficial, you can, but you have everything you need right here. Just to give you a quick overview, okay, here's all of our formulas. We have surface area of prisms and cylinders, and then pyramids and cones. I'll be doing one of each of these, okay, but the first thing to realize is, this thing is a prism. All right. So writing out this formula is the first thing I would highly recommend. Don't skip this step. It is definitely worth doing. All right. So let's go and do it. Okay. So first thing, we have a rectangular prism. This thing has a rectangle base. Even though you can't see through this thing, normally we'd have problems that look something like this. All right. But it's okay. We can still make sense of it. So first thing, big formula, surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. Okay, step number 2, most important step, make sure you're doing it, plugging in the formula to find the area of the base. This base is a rectangle, and hopefully you have memorized, and even if you haven't memorized it, hopefully it's in your notes. Area of a rectangle is base times height. Okay, and then plus the perimeter times the height of the whole thing. Okay, now we can start plugging in our numbers here. So surface area equals 2 times, okay, the base and the height of the rectangle is 8 and 2. So 8 times 2. Okay, plus the perimeter of the rectangle. Rectangles have 4 sides. We need to add all 4 sides of this thing, which would be an 8, a 2, another 8, and another 2. Okay, and then times the height of the whole prism, going up there, 7. Okay, big thing to remember, when you type this in, make sure to put parentheses around the perimeter, or else you will get the wrong answer. Okay, so just when in doubt, use parentheses on this thing. Okay, so let's see what happens. So 2 times 8 times 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 8 plus 2 times 7. Okay, take your time typing this in, but I'm getting 172. Okay, so go ahead and type that into your answer here and submit it. All right, one thing, just by the way, I looked for was, how do they want me to round this problem? They're not telling me how to round, okay, which kind of implies I should be getting a whole number on this problem. Okay, so just something to remember with Delta Math. Some of these problems do tell you how to round, so definitely, pay attention to that. Yep, cool. Let's keep moving. So go ahead and flip back and let's go to the next class example. Or if you want to pause the video and try some of these rectangular prisms on your own, that would be a good idea. Okay, but I'm going to move on. All right, so looking at a triangular prism here. Okay, it's still a prism. We're still using the same formula. So let's start with it. Surface area equals 2 times area of the base plus perimeter of the base times height. Okay, and let's go ahead and plug in the formula for the area of the base. Big thing to realize, and they basically tell you up in the directions, triangular prism, the base of this prism is a triangle. You could highlight either one of these. I'm going to highlight this one. Okay, so there's my triangular base. All right, and the big thing, how do I find the area of this base? Since it's a triangle, 1/2 base times height. Okay, and then plus the perimeter times height. Okay, other big thing, making sure we get our numbers in the right spots. Okay, the base and the height of the triangle, remember, are at a right angle. The segments that make that right angle, this one and this one, are the base and the height. We can see one of them's a 4, and over here we can see the other one's a 3. Okay, so that is what needs to be plugged in here. Times 4 times 3. Okay, and then plus the perimeter of the whole thing. I'm running out of space. Let me scoot this over. Okay, the perimeter, adding together all of the sides of the base. This base is a triangle. It has 3 sides, so 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay, and then times the height of the whole prism. Remember, the heights are the segments going from one base to the other. That's a height, that's a height, and that's a height. So 9. Okay, so again, be careful with typing this in. Use parentheses. Plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 times 9. Okay, another problem. It is saying how we should round to the nearest whole number. I'm getting 120, which is a whole number. Just remember, whole number, it means no decimals. All right, so yeah, that's how you would round this one. But yeah, we're getting a nice clean 120. Alrighty, so yeah, I would recommend going back and trying out the other triangle prism problem. Okay, but I'm going to move on to the next class example, looking at the surface area of a cylinder. All right, so this one is giving information up in the directions. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to draw the cylinder, though. I think it's really, simple what we need for a cylinder. So quick reminder on this. Let me go back real quick. Okay, cylinder. Okay, this is 2 times area of the base plus circumference times height. Okay, we have a circular base when we're dealing with cylinders. Okay, so let's write that out. 2 times area of the base plus circumference times height. All right, and yeah, these are circles. So with cylinders, there's no guessing. The area of a circle goes in here, pi r squared. And the circumference of the circle, 2 pi r, goes in here, and then times the height of the whole thing. Okay. All right. So we need the radius and we need the height. And if you guys look at the directions, they're telling me the height is 8, and they're giving me the radius as 3. Okay, they're giving me exactly what I want. Though always double check. Some of these might give you the diameter, and you might need to take half of it. So don't assume that they always give you the radius. Okay, so 2 times pi 3 squared plus 2 pi 3 times 8. Okay, let's see what happens. And definitely type this in with me. Make sure you know how to do it, because that's kind of half the battle on these. 2 pi 3 times 8. Okay, I'm getting 207.345. Here's a big thing I should check. How do they want me to round? To the nearest thousandths. Okay, thousandths. Okay, so here's, I want to write out some of this number. Okay, so here's what you should have in your calculator. Okay, and it continues on from there. Okay, but the thousandths, this is the tenths, this is the hundredths, this is the thousandths. This is how this problem wants you to round. Okay, and the only question is does this number stay a 5 or does it round up to a 6? And it's all dependent on this number next to it, right? If this was a 5 or more, yeah, we would round up. It's not, so it stays a 5. So you're going to put in 207.345. That's your answer. Okay. Be careful. This is how a lot of these want you to round. We haven't done a whole lot of thousands, but if you know how to round tenths or hundredths, you can do thousands. It's all the same thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, again, I would go ahead and flip on back and try out some of those cylinder problems. And I'm going to move on to the next one, surface area of a square pyramid. Okay, so we're looking at pyramids here just to kind of quick get your head into the right spot. Okay, pyramids, here's our formula. Area of the base plus 1/2 of the perimeter times slant height. Okay, here's the good news. These problems on the review as well as the test are going to give you the slant height. And there's no Pythagorean theorem necessary really on any of these problems. Okay, so I didn't want to overcomplicate it. They're going to give you everything you need on these problems. Okay, so yeah, let's write out that formula. What just happened? Okay, I guess I accidentally went back. Okay, sorry. So, okay, so surface area, let me make it black, equals capital B, area of the base, plus 1/2 of the perimeter times slant height. just so we're all certain when we're using this one. Make sure you have these formulas in your notes. Okay, you will not be able to use this work from the review on your test. Okay, so first things first, finding the area of the base. All right, the base of this thing is a square. To find the area of a square, base times height, plus 1/2 the perimeter times slant height. Okay, so let's plug in these numbers. Okay, the base and the height of the square, 6 and 6. So 6 times 6 plus 1/2 of the perimeter. That's adding together all of the sides of the base. A square has 4 sides, and all of them are the same, measure. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Okay, and then times the slant height. Remember, the slant height is this value going up the side of your shape. Okay, so that's good. They gave it to us. Okay, so let's see what happens. So again, parentheses, they're important. Use them. All right, times 7, and I'm getting 120. Okay, which, by the way, I noticed they're not telling me how to round. I should assume I'm going to get clean answers, whole numbers. All right. Okay, so there's that. Go ahead and try out a couple of those square pyramids on your own. And then I'm going to move on to our last class example, surface area of a cone. Okay, so quick reminder, to find the surface area of a cone, it's the same formula as a surface area of a pyramid. The only difference, instead of perimeter, it's circumference because it has a circular base. All right, so let's write out that formula. Okay, so surface area equals capital B, area of the base, plus 1/2 of the circumference times the slant height. My first thought is, I hope they're giving me the slant height. And yeah, they are. Okay, so everything is given to us here. Okay, so big first step, plugging in the area of the base. The base of a cone is a circle, pi r squared. Okay, plus 1/2 of the circumference, which is 2 pi r. Okay, times slant height. Okay, and I just want to point out again, this second step, this is why this is so important. It would be really easy to mess up by just going straight to your calculator or just plugging in numbers. I highly recommend writing all of these steps out. Now, actually, I want to see it on the review and especially the test. I want to see all your work. Okay, big thing, radius. They're not giving us radius. They're giving us diameter. The radius is going to be half that, a 10. Be careful of that. So we got pi 10 squared plus 1/2 circumference, 2 pi 10 times the slant height, 22.4. All right, let's see what happens. So pi 10 squared plus 1/2 in parentheses times 2 pi 10 times 22.4. Okay, here's what I notice. I'm getting a decimal. I'm going to check how they want me to round to the nearest whole number. Whole number. Okay, so no decimals. So let me just make sure we're all on the same page. I'm getting 1,017.8. All right, the whole number is this thing right here. Okay, does that stay a 7 or does it round up to an 8? And it depends on the number next to it. And it looks like it's going to be rounding up, right? So your answer down here is going to be 1,018. Okay, cool. So that's kind of it. Make sure you have these formulas in your notes. Okay, you will not be able to use this piece of paper on the test. So put it in your notes if you don't have them. And I would also recommend watching the notes if you haven't done that yet. Okay, cool. So let me know if you have any questions, guys. I'll see you.